Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Coach Rob, did you realize that in these Wilson clashes that people complain a lot about the one stroke that this racket begs you to hit correctly?
Oh, didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No, I have, probably a handful of people that like the clash and have only sung their praises on it.
Okay, well, I'll explain today. Okay. Stay tuned. All right, Coach Rob, so you have the original Clash
100
Tour, and I have the new 100. Now, the flex on this is extremely low, especially in the 100 in the new. It's the same as the 100 in the old. This has the original soft flex too. So they're very, very close, very, very similar in that 50s realm. So very, very flexible, as you know. Now, people always complain to me. I would say at least half the people who buy these rackets or try these rackets, they say, I can't volley with this racket.
Haven't heard that one.
Okay. Well, I'm going to show you why it is actually different when you volley with this racket. At 55 or lower, right, the racket becomes extremely flexible. A regular racket, when you hold up the racket's firm, right? Strings absorb, shoots it out. With this, not so much. So let's go out on the court. I'm gonna have you hit with yours. We're gonna put a Clash in your hand, and then I'll show you like what people are talking about.
Let's do it.
Okay, stay tuned. Okay, Coach Rob, we had you try your racket first, the Pro Staff, and you're obviously used to this racket. You know how it feels, you know where it is, you know how the ball's gonna pop off. Obviously, because it's thinner, you're probably gonna have to, stroke, basically, like kind of old school, come through.
Basically, you're trying to use the racket as direction, and your body weight is what's creating the pop.
Right.
Right. So yeah, there's a little bit of this, but you're using your body to hit your volley.
Right.
Versus waiting and standing and swatting.
I mean, you were taught the old school way.
Correct.
Of the correct way, as I call it.
Right.
And so you have the right mechanics for it.
In theory.
Versus the people who kind of hold it up and maybe move forward a couple inches and expect the racket to pop off because, the racket, the ball speed coming from the other side is just going to help you power off the ball going back.
Right.
So that's what people are expecting.
Correct.
When you do that with a Clash, you're not going to get the same effect without some kind of a forward movement. And I call it elongated movement too.
Yep.
Now, when you went from your Pro Staff to the Clash or the Clashes, what did you feel?
Well, the first Clash, the 100 Tour, not sure when it was last strung, but it was definitely a little more trampoline-ish. It was definitely, you needed to make sure you got a little backspin on it to get a little bite to get through the court. But it definitely felt softer and a little spongier. When I switched to the newer Clash, maybe it was strung more recently, it definitely had a little more added oomph to it without having to really step on it. You know, both worked fine.
Did you feel that these were softer than yours?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if somebody were to, let's say, be at the net and you fired off something right at their forehand volley and you went like this and that's all you did, what do you think would happen if you hit the clashes?
I'd tell them to step in. The ball would probably kind of just not have a whole lot of response to it. It would probably just kind of die on the other side or die in the net.
Right, exactly. So that was my number one complaint, was that my volley doesn't work. My volley does not go anywhere. I was like, well, you need kind of an old school stroke, old school volley stroke to get the ball to where you want it to go with the same velocity, speed, and power that you want it to go by. I mean, I had you even go with a wooden racket, and how did the wooden racket feel?
The Dunlop Max Ply. It felt good. Felt a little bit like the Clash, which is kind of what Clash was trying to replicate, the feel, you know, what feels good. They went back to wood rackets, and you could feel the vibration and the flex of it. Yeah, it wasn't warped, so that was good. And the volleys felt good coming off of it. I did have to lean into it a little bit. I'm not sure when it was last strung. What,
30 years ago?
Decades, okay, 3 decades ago. But it was fun.
Felt similar, right? The Clash and the wood?
Yeah, the Clash, especially the Clash 100 Tour. This one did feel a little similar. You know, the Pro Staff and the newer Clash had a little more similarity to it. And then when we went to the Shift.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Our friend the Shift.
I wanted Coach Rob to see if Wilson remedied the volleying problem with the Shift. And what did you think?
The Shift felt a little bit stiffer. Ball jumped off the racket. It felt a little bit more like my Pro Staff. You know, could have been the poly, could have been strung more recently. Head shape, size, but if you hit it in the middle of the racket and you get your bite and you're stepping into it, you should be able to volley with any racket if you do it right. But I could see what you were saying by just the different, you know, the sponginess of the 100 Tour, and then, you know, similar to the wood, and then as we went into the Pro Staff and the newer one, and then the Shift, felt good.
So what I'm trying to get at, guys, is if you're playing with a Clash and you don't have a volley, right, there's a reason for that, right? You have to step into it, elongate it, make sure your technique is just proper with your weight going forward.
Make sure your footwork is good, because if you're ready hopping at the right time or split stepping at the right time and you're pushing off with your back foot into the ball, your volley should go past the service line, hopefully with some consistency. And if you put a little slice on it, it should stay low.
I feel like I should tell people that they should over-exaggerate the technique. What do you think about that?
Especially when you're learning it. If you're working on it, you know, you're going to hit some that feel great. You're going to hit some clunkers, and you just try to keep copying the ones that feel good. Right.
So do the proper technique, but maybe kind of emphasize the whole weight shift, the racket movement forward, and trying to finish off the stroke. Make sure your eyes and your chin, as people say, are with the racket and not going away. Because if you do this, I mean, it doesn't matter what you have in your hand anyways. It's not going to go through the court, okay? So accentuate your volley stroke a little bit more, okay? Make sure you finish it off, and you will definitely be fine. Now, if you can't do that with the Clash, then we're going to have to shift.
Yeah, you gotta shift. Time to shift.
Okay, so they fixed the problem with this one, guys. So if you can't do it with the Clash, do it with the Shift. All right, Coach Rob, thank you so much.
Sure.
You're my perfect prototype for especially this video.
Thank you. That just means I'm old, right?
No, it means you have perfect volleying strokes. Guys, thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Hey, Coach.
What's up, Harry? What you got there today?
Oh, just wanted to try out the new white out, and then obviously got my black out with some new strings in there. So want to test it out with you.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down.
All right. What you got there, Coach?
Oh, well, I mean, if we're going to test out your rackets today, I thought we'd just test out my rackets today. What do you think?
Sure, Coach. If you want that perfect coach or partner who is a racket junkie just like you, Play Your Court is the place. They have over 27,000 players for you to choose from. It's all at playyourcourt.com/tennis spin.